In this concept video, we're going to be discussing domain and range, but mostly domain. For many functions, any value of x will work, but not all functions. So we need to look for specific places in the domain, which are just the possible values for x, where the function is either undefined or we get imaginary answers. The range is simply just all the possible values of y. The domain, though, we want to look in two cases: what will cause a function to be undefined, and how would we get imaginary answers. This is going to cause a function to be undefined. Any number over 0. Remember, division by 0 is not allowed. We don't know what to do with it. It's undefined. You can't take a number like 10 and split it up into no groups. That really doesn't make any sense. You could also look at this in a table form, and you'll see that division by 0 just results in some weird stuff going on. 0 over a number is okay, so we're only looking really at the denominator. So we want to say the denominator can't be 0. Only the denominator. The numerator's fine. The numerator can be any value, even 0. We want to exclude those values from the domain. So any value of x that makes the denominator 0, we need to exclude. How would we get imaginary answers? Well, remember, if you take the square root of a negative number, that's going to be imaginary. Those don't exist. So we're going to have the square root of a negative number or a negative value. We only need to worry about underneath the square root sign. If that's negative, then we have some issues. So we want to watch out for those. We want to exclude those from the domain. If we're wondering about all real numbers, the square root of a negative number is not real. That's really it for the domain. The range, we usually look a little bit more graphically, and we'll go through some examples of those in the future. But just know that we need to be careful of the denominator of a fraction being 0 and anything underneath the radical sign being negative. Big math word I could write here. The stuff underneath the radical sign is called a radicand. So the radicand can't be negative.